Ooh, the old man hour. Wow. You know how I get down. Don't change. May the blue energy from the blue Argonite get into your presence, get into your knowing. Thank you so much. Got a little carried away there. Ah, no better. Well, guten morning. Good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you for joining the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your super funky hero, Big Pontiac, also known as 8 Win, also known as the Time Lord. So welcome one, welcome all. And I'm also, and I take this shit serious. I don't just say this shit, I proclaim this shit. I am the holder of the sacred, infinite ball game created by the Hero Twins. And I don't say that lightly. It's not just a gimmick. It's the realest shit, and I'm the only one that can proclaim this. No one else practices. This is all of it is a practice. Like I was trying to explain, if you don't practice something and then you call upon something, that something is not going to be there. I am also your galactic daddy-o, welcoming each and every one of you to my galactic patio. Coming from Minnesota, reaching out to the universe. So thanks for joining. Oh, and so tonight, drinking Captain some shit, Morgan, Captain Morgan. So pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. And this is the Hamilton device. That's all it's called. It's not working so great. It works enough. So pop them if you got them. Smoke them if you want them. Pretty smoked out on other things. So who we got? Oh, Necessary Evil. Oh my goodness. Okay. Necessary Evil. Thank you for joining us. Barbara Grady. My main man from Japan, PJ. Y'all know I am due last ape. Okay. Basket manipulation in the Richmond upset. Definitely. They didn't call the foul either. They didn't call the foul. Keelan's other, well, thank you for joining. But Keelan's other son got fouled and they didn't call it. It was like, that was the game and they didn't call it. But I'll say this. Let me say this. For them not letting the Murray twins, for them not letting the Murray twins win it all, they are going to have good NBA careers. I'm going to say that, both the brothers. And what's so unfortunate is they usually draft brothers together, and I don't get why. But if you look at the history, so hopefully they'll go to different parts of the country. But I think that's for them not winning it all, I think is a win in the long run. You stupid fool. Thank you for joining. B Brown, what's happening? Captain Morgan. Yes, yes, Captain Morgan. Because I drank 3 other beers earlier. But yeah, I think that's a big win for them that they didn't win. And I did want to make a point of that them not winning is probably a positive for their future career. Because we see so many times. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, because it was 12 games, I believe. So going with Gonzaga, I won that one. I won Gonzaga. I won that one. I won Memphis. I won the Memphis game. Games played today. I won Baylor. I won the Baylor game. I won. Let's make double check. I don't want motherfuckers to be like, nigga, you didn't pick that. Yes, I did. Okay. I won North Carolina. I won North Carolina. Won that one. St. Mary's. I definitely won St. Mary's. Oh, different page on this one? St. Mary's is in the East. Got to be over here. Yeah, right here. St. Mary's. Won that one. UCLA. Won that one. Lost. Let's see. Lost to St. Pete. So I lost that game. So lost that one. So St. Pete against Murray State. Won Murray State. And on this side, what I have is I called Michigan. I called that Michigan game. So I got Michigan. I got Tennessee. Let's see. Michigan, Tennessee. Where are we at? San Diego. Why is it different? Okay. Games today. Creighton, San Diego State should be right there. I lost that one. I lost Creighton, San Diego State. Yeah, because Creighton won. I picked San Diego State. So that's a negative. And I lost Iowa. See, like I wrote that already. Yep, I lost Iowa, Richmond. But I did win Providence. I did win Providence, so that's a plus. So out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14 games, I lost 3. 14 games, I lost 3. And I went 3-1 yesterday. What have I missed? Captain Morgan. Okay. Huge no call. Yeah, it was a huge no call. It was a 3. They slapped him on the wrist and let it go. That's why I showed that point shaving video. Watched that video earlier. No call. No call. No call. Clearly, and you see you see the ref right there. He had the perfect angle to see if he got smacked. He wasn't blocked. It is two other eyes on him. It's 2 other referees. And so because look at the way the refs in the 3-man shift would work is you would have a ref be ball side. So you had a ref baseline, you had a ref up top, and the other ref would be, I don't know if people notice where it's the check mark. Like you would be more at the check mark. You wouldn't necessarily have to come below it, but you would be more of the check mark or under, let's say within, slightly above the free throw line, as far as your rotation on the other side as a referee. So you had 2 eyes. So you had 2 men within 7, 8 feet. 1 man within 4 or 5 feet didn't call it. 1 man with a view 6, 7 feet. So that just shows you how they script these games. They was told don't call it. That one commentator said it was a very bad no miss call. Exactly. I agree. Only Indiana Richmond ruined my bracket. Oh, I picked Iowa to go all the way to the Final Four. So I'm wiped out on the East, right? East? No, the Midwest. Midwest, because I had Iowa coming out of there. So that wiped me out of that. But I'm not surprised because the same thing happened last year. Same thing happened last year. But I showed that Kentucky where the player, they was up and the player missed the ball on purpose. I showed that. Look at my video where he missed the ball. He let the ball go between his legs. Sir William Ray, what's happening? Oh yeah, yeah. That's a kind of ritual. That's a kind of ritual, but really it shows a lack of offense. CWE, what's happening? But yeah, that going for all them points is ridiculous in itself. Nets have scored 111 in the last by 11, 6 times this season. Okay. But like me, I think the Timberwolves, their game, this one or one before, they scored the most points. So like 147. Matter of fact, I want to say the game before Towns scored 60. The game before is when they set the record in scoring. I think they scored 100. excuse me, as a team, 147 points as a team. So yeah. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, he let it go looking unorthodox. Yeah, but I mean, you can see the mistakes when they make the mistakes. Okay, look at the overtime game. The last couple games they just showed. The overtime game was that the Murray State game, but the game that the last game that just went into overtime, they didn't try to get a shot off. They did everything not to shoot the ball, and so the game went into overtime. You got the ball with 9 seconds left. Now, if you notice what happened is the big guy came and set a pick for the guard. And no. As the guard proceeded up, they double teamed him. So the big dude rolled. And he didn't give it to him. He went to the other side where nobody was really open. So you see how they do it. You see how they do it. NBA turned Magnet on, beating the Nets, buzzer to keep the Nets on 111. Good point. Good point. Good point, CW. And it's funny, it's like nothing else on tonight. No hockey, no nothing. ESPN had bullshit on all night. So they know it what the average sports fan is watching. They are not watching the bullshit they're showing on. Even look at the TV shows. Really no competition for it. So it's fun. And I got destroyed like this the first game last year, where my Final Four pick didn't go. But if I get some of these middle games, I'll still be decent. Yeah, because I had Iowa coming out of the Midwest, excuse me. But really, up until the grade 8, whatever they call it, up until the grade 8, I could actually turn out all right. Sweet 16, I could still be okay. So, and let me brag. Pickleball supremacy today. I went 7-1. And the beautiful thing about pickleball, I got to sign up for it though. Pickleball is so new. I think we're only in the first year of pro pickleball. I think last summer and this fall was the first year of pro pickleball. It's so new that there's an app that you can get ranked by just applying when you play. So I'm about to set that up because I think Monday I only played 4 or 5 games. Tuesday I probably played, no, let me see, what day is snow? Snow maybe Monday. Tuesday we play, so it's snow Monday. We played Tuesday, Wednesday, and I played today. I played 8 games yesterday. I played 8 games today. And was dominant. I had to quit playing because everybody bugging me. I played for 2 hours and I must have had 20 calls. It was like, I'm just ignoring mugs left and right. So, but still got in 8 games. Feel great. So, and skill, the skill is really, bro. Like I said, I went 8-1. I only lost 7-1. I only lost 1 game today. And I mean, I'm just, no matter who I'm playing with, I'm smoking mugs. I mean, just, it's not all about power. It's placement, and it's just being, it's still on the infinite sacred ball game. So it's just times where I just really tap into it. And it's funny when I became unfocused, like the 5th or 6th game, the first game I lost, I saw where I became unfocused because I was just straight lunching, thinking about some other shit. But it's fatigue, didn't drink nothing, didn't take just a few minutes. It was just like I was just playing. And it's like I should have just at that time drank a little water, and then I changed shoes too. That pretty made a little difference. It made a pretty big difference actually. I learned that from my my reffing days. So only NBA game was Detroit and Orlando. Yeah. St. Peter. Yeah, exactly. Welcome, Jack. NBA having players drops 50s to increase ratings and popularity. I would concur. I definitely would concur. Oh, and that makes me think of, check this out. Check this out. Now, we haven't really, none of our lifetimes did we see this. I've studied this, but in my lifetime, I can't say I physically see what we're seeing in college basketball. What we're seeing in college basketball is almost equivalent to what happened after World War II. Because World War II, if you was 18, you right out of high school, you could go. A lot of dudes lied. Chuck Bednarik, a Hall of Famer from Philadelphia, went at 15, 16. A lot of dudes went in there 15, 16. So what happened after the war, a lot of these dudes who played football or whatever in high school, or you were in college and then you went in and you dropped college to go into the Army, you were still eligible. So you look at Doc Blanchard, he went to Army. Two dudes from Army won the Heisman back to back. Doc Blanchard, Butch something maybe. Now I say this is what it. So you see a lot of, like, you look at a lot of them strong Army teams. These was grown ass men that came back from World War II. That was playing against a lot of young people. We're seeing that now. Not so much in football because dudes go pro. If you big and decent, you're gonna play NFL. But what we're seeing is we're seeing a lot of older dudes staying. Again, they're giving them dudes that fifth year. They're giving them dudes that fifth year. You know, you can transfer if you were redshirted or something or injured. They giving them dudes. Man, one dude they showed he had been in college and eligible for 7 years. It was this past football season. It was a dude that was in 7 years in college. Eligibility, probably injury. We're going to see that more and more. As more and more young people go into the league where you ain't even got to go to college, and dudes leaving early. And this is what's so funny. It made me realize it is. Look at how many bald head dudes you saw today. Look at all the dudes losing hair already. You were seeing dudes stand up to the free throw line, and you see that male pattern baldness kicking in. Because these dudes ain't 18, 19. These dudes is in their middle 20s. But because of the eligibility requirements and what they're pushing, letting dudes stay, you seeing the older dudes play college basketball. So don't be surprised by that. We're going to see more and more of that. Yep, we're going to see more and more of that. Hey, researcher, what's happening? Yeah, they can make. I've showed a video where they can make a person, lose control of the ball, where the ball go dead. I mean, really, you can see kind of some dribbling where the ball will go dead on a person. So if they can manipulate it going around up in the air, they can definitely manipulate it when they're moving it around. I showed that when they did the pass. Embiid did the pass. He was passing to Seth, and the ball doesn't go to Seth. It goes behind Seth or way ahead of Seth. So yeah, they can manipulate to make the ball go dead. Yep. SD, what's happening? Okay, yeah, that's you. You was like me. That's all I miss. Hey Jack, what's happening? Yeah, I caught. I was busy today, but I started because I was just drinking coffee because I finished here what 2, 3, and by the time I unwind and get in my room, it's like 3:34 sometimes. So I sleep until noon if they don't bother me. And so today nobody bothered me until I went to play pickleball. I mean, it was like I got so many calls that they probably thought I was selling drugs or something. It was like, God damn, what the fuck? It's like the dude who drops off some of my medicine. Motherfucker, the shit say, if I don't, you ain't gotta call me. Just drop the shit off. This motherfucker called me several times and finally like, motherfucker, what? Well, I got your medicine. Motherfucker, what it say? Well, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, because the shit does cost a lot, no doubt. But still, god damn. I got a commercial for your vid. Does NBA vids get money? I got commercial for your vid. Does NBA vids get money? I got a commercial for your vid. Oh, I don't. I don't get money for commercials. Thank you for joining. Well, what they do is they try to say they save it up in your account, but I don't get paid for that shit. I, after what they did to my other channel, I didn't monetize this shit. And probably wrongly because the viewership I got with the one video that really, again, they manipulate all this shit. And I ain't hating on no people, but I watch some people and all of a sudden within a month okay, let me tell you, okay. Bomber shit be some of the deepest shit that comes on. And him compared to other people, it just doesn't make sense. Now he's a salesman, all that, but the free shit he give out is the best shit. Him and Quantum of Science are probably the two of the deepest motherfuckers that give out shit. And again, you got to use discernment. But the motherfucker that got the most lives ever that I watched was Kwame. Kwame's goofy ass talking about other niggas. One of his lives did 20,000 live. That was the best I've ever seen. But he wasn't able to sustain it. Again, the same old shit over and over again, talking about other niggas, talking about, nothing really simple shit, a simpleton. But it's other people that, okay, the shit is okay, but 10,000 subs in a month, and you don't think it's nothing artificial about that? I mean, it's people like they talk shit about these USB mics. It's people that got 300,000-400,000 with these Yeti mics. They don't have the condensers. They got Yetis. So you can't say that you can't have those mics, which actually I've recorded some shit for me and they're not bad. These are more for speaking and, the sound goes, I mean, just the science behind it's a little different science in both. I understand that. So to pimp it is a lot of different things. Hey, Gray, what's happening? If NBA want to maximize their revenue, have net to go to the finals, conservatives like they did the Cavs in 15 win or lose. I don't know. Because look at it like this. The Knicks are the top franchise in the league and ain't won since 75. They ain't really been a major playoff caliber team since Ewing left. Not that when Ewing played his career again, Ewing had to fight Jordan. They put Ewing the same way as they put Will Chamberlain against Bill Russell, if you really follow it. Every year Bill Russell was Wilt's nemesis. Every year, just like in college, Michael Jordan was Patrick Ewing nemesis. When Michael Jordan won the NBA, Patrick Ewing won one. For throwing the game the year before, they let them beat Houston. But for Olajuwon, and this is why I say about the Murray brothers, for Olajuwon losing in college, he won 2 in the NBA. I mean, you've got to gauge it. You've got to look at like, okay, if you see this pattern over and over again, okay, well, this dude like Bill Walton. Now, Kareem is probably one of the few exceptions, is Kareem. But look at all them Duke dudes. Look at all them Duke people. Can't really say any of them turned out to be a phenomenon. Grant Hill had a short run. You could almost compare Grant Hill to Gale Sayers. Gale Sayers probably did more. Gale Sayers played 100 games, and look at what he did in 100 games. Gale Sayers scored every 5th time he touched the ball as a rookie. 22 touchdowns in 12 games. Every 5 times he touched the ball. That'll never be equaled. And they play what? 18 games now? 17, 18? Every 5th time he touched the ball, he scored. Be it pass, run, kickoff, or punt. I love Gale Sayers. That's why I give him so much love. They won't let you monetize your stuff. You know what? They sent me a thing because when I first did my other channel and monetized it, they sent me a paper. and they sent some stuff where you ain't monetized that we about to whatever, and you'll have another chance. So I don't know. I'm still the thing. It's not that I don't think there's some value to what I say, but the thing of going in business, and I guess I'm saying it in a naive way because I am giving them value. Again, Super Sly showed about a month ago where his shit wasn't monetized, and they was running commercials during this shit. So they do it, and then they say, well, we're holding it for when you do get monetized. But at this point, I ain't really made an agreement. And the way they took my other channel down, the shit I talked about then ain't shit compared to now. I only mentioned what my doctor went through. And that's why, and it's supposed to be strikes. Wasn't no strikes. They just took my channel down. No warning. I may have had a strike like a year before that even happened. And that was like only one during the whole year. So that channel was up since 14. Making videos since what, 16, 17. So it makes me like, them field goal manipulations are really weird. I really think, Fire's field goals, that's why they put the field goal back further. I think it was easier to manipulate. I think what they looked at is how can we make them miss more? And if you don't think that dude kicking 4 field goals into the post ain't on purpose, that's on purpose. They even showed him do the shit in practice. That shit was on purpose. So we know that they can manipulate it to hit the field goal too. So that's why they put it back further. It made no sense for it to go back further. Like, you know what happened? Talking heads like Skip was saying that we should do away with the field goal. And again, he was paid to say that shit. But Skip was saying, I hate all these games that win by field goal. Let's do away. So that was for them to say, well, we're getting all these complaints that there shouldn't be a give me. Yes, it should. A touchdown is the give me. Because what is it? When you play rugby, the touchdown is worth less than the field goal part. You touch down to get to what? The 4 points in rugby? You get what is it? To touch down is, I think, less points than to kick it. I could be wrong. Somebody could correct me. But you get more with the kicks. Australian rules football, I know they get more with kicks. So cats be paying for, cats do be paying for subscribers, no doubt about that. It's like paying for clout. It's about the players. They make the teams popular compared to the NFL. Yeah. Hey, Lamborghini, leg lock, what's happening? Well, thank you for checking in. I appreciate it. KD wears 7. He has 7 playoff wins with Nets. Okay. We'll check that out. Who is better, Gale or Bob Hayes? Gale. I'll say this. Bob Hayes is probably one of the most underrated receivers in the league. I mean, if you look at the numbers, like the Cowboys, not to put him in the Ring of Honor, I know he got caught with Kane and shit, but Bob Hayes was just basically a sprinter that also played football at Florida A&M. And I think during his junior year in college, he qualified to go to the Olympics. And not only did he win this shit, like people don't even put Bob Hayes where they put Jesse Owens. Not only does he win the Olympic gold medal, this motherfucker sets a record. Niggas know who Jesse Owens is, but don't know who goddamn Bob Hayes is? How is that possible? How is what Bob Hayes did, and I think he was on the relay team too, so I think he got 2 gold medals in Japan. How do you know about Jesse Owens, but you don't know about Bob Hayes? Because Bob Hayes set the world record winning the goddamn gold medal. Just to get that off my chest. As a receiver, yeah, look at his numbers. Just look at Bob Hayes' numbers. Bob Hayes put in decent numbers, but yeah, not good as Gale. Not good as Gale. Not like Gale only played in 100 games. Gale was the youngest person put in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he made All Pro. He only played 6 years, and he made All Pro. Not All Star or the All Star game. Made All Pro. First team All NFL 5 years in a row. His first 5 years, and then he got hurt. So yeah, Bob was nice though, and he don't get enough love. Ain't nothing but the truth. What's happening? Why did they take my account down? That's a good question. Because what I talked about then, I just said, well, my doctor told me. My doctor told me one thing about another doctor and how long it took him from the shot. And this was like Biden was in, this was probably the 6th of January. And my doctor just said how it made her feel. She told me how it made another doctor feel. And in mid sentence, they killed the channel. No warnings, no nothing. And I kept appealing and they saying that no. And now these motherfuckers say the same. It was people really kind of saying the shit then. So what it was they picked on smaller channels. And see, this is a joke. If I was permanently banned, like these motherfuckers don't know who I am. Like Zach talk about all the different channels he's had. It ain't like you don't know who the fuck we are. We come out mostly the same servers. I've been to this place going on 6 years, so it's the same fucking server. You know who the fuck I am. So it ain't like it's like, okay, we get another channel and ooh, they don't know who we are. How the fuck don't you know who we are? You got facial recognition and all that shit. My name is the same goddamn name that you saw for the other one. And on the internet, the only other Brian Macon you're gonna see my cousin that played at Boston College. I don't know if my junior got one or not, but you'll see Brian Macon out of Boston College. You'll see some of his shit. And fuck, he's probably my son's age. Brian Macon that played at Boston College, one of my cousins. And I was having that conversation. Do you know how long? It was 30 plus years. My junior, I think, is older than this other Brian Macon. Do you know how long in my life there was my name? There was no other people named my name but me. Do you know how long I went? My son was born in 89. I think it was 93, 94 before I found another person that had my name. Now I've had people I knew that had my name because I'm named after an actor. His name was Brian Keith. Now I met one other person that had the exact same, named after the same actor. Did meet my friend Brian Johnson. Great hooper. Watched him score 63 in the game. Brian could go. But and this is kind of bringing up some new shit. This shows you how reality is not what you think. As I mentioned many times, people look alike like a motherfucker. I will go to these cities and see younger versions of older people. I would see older versions. I would see children that I knew their older version, and I would know older versions than I would see the children. I mean, it was just so, this can't be a coincidence that I would just see the same people as I'm going from city to city, seeing the same people, just different versions. But going back to the names, look up names. Names, they running out of them motherfuckers. Like my daughter's named after my grandmother. But she wasn't the only one, come to find out. This is like a family name that I didn't know at the time. That there was one or two other ones. But if you get to looking up your family and just looking up names in general, you see that there ain't no new names. Now, of course, in the 80s, when we had people that did not want to name children European names. Now, I know they make fun of Pookie and Ray Rays, but these is taken away from the European names. I know people make fun of that shit, but that's what it's all about. And then in the 80s, when you had Shondike, Yayania, African phonics maybe, but kind of the Ebonics mostly. People didn't want their children to have these European names. And I know people make fun of it and like, you should name your child that. That was the fight back of the Europeans saying that shit. You was on the European side attacking names like that. You didn't look at why. Well, you shouldn't give no. We had a culture that said, fuck these European names. We don't want to be called John, Joe, Jeff, Ben, Charles. All these European names. We started making up our own names. Young women's like, fuck this, and put in what they thought should be a name. And then they spelled it the way they thought. And you got so many, and I'm going to say somewhat agents, because you attacking them names, you working for them people. See, we got agents that don't even realize they be agents and shit. That's the funny shit about agents. You got some agents, yeah, but you got motherfucking agents, unpaid agents that be working for them motherfuckers and don't even get paid to do it, but just had an opinion of what they do, of them peoples. So this reality tells you, it shows you what it really is. If you peek. All right, what's everybody talking about? Nothing but truth. I think I said what's up to you. How dumb does Aaron Rodgers look now that Devontae Adams got traded to the Raiders? I don't really know that he looked dumb. I mean, taking all that bread, he knew that. Look, it's been like that. It's been like that. It has been that they don't have any money to give anybody anything else other than Adams. Remember they had the what's his name, number 89, the running back that kept the high 80s number, that ended up dropping the fumble and got really McCarthy got him fired. Remember he dropped the fumble on purpose and the Packers lost because he wasn't getting his bread, wasn't playing, was making run back kicks, but he wasn't running the ball in the backfield. And he's like, fuck you, and fumbled the ball on purpose. They got rid of him the next week. Packers Ben ain't had anybody. They ain't got anybody to give him help. I mean, the games were so ridiculous where they ain't double teaming him and he getting, Adams is getting these catches. Him taking that money and not restructuring his contract, Ben hampered them. So it ain't nothing new. He know what he coming into. They are not. I mean, they just showed him. As soon as you quit, we got another motherfucker that's gonna be ready. So they ain't got no money to get anybody else good. So he's with it. He's with it. He's with it. I don't know why he didn't leave. Skips need shut the fuck up. He never played one notable sport. No, he's a bench rider in high school. And see, that's what the problem is. These motherfuckers be bench riders in high school and be having an attitude because you make it. And something they couldn't make it in. I ain't mad at anybody that made it. I look at how some made it, but that they made it, I ain't hating on that. NBA should have had in. NBA 75 should have been in. I don't know your question. Thanks for joining. I think Sean Kemp should have been in. I really do. I think Sean Kemp played well enough during his career that Sean Kemp should have been in. Like you look at cats like Bill Bradley, Dave DeBusschere, if they were still in, Bob Cousy. And again, so it's got to be some old people in there. I understand that, but some of them do not. Like I said, Earl Monroe. He revolutionized the game because of his spin and because of his fluid playing, but just the stats, and I don't know. I just don't know. It's some now Westbrook or Earl Monroe. I would tend to say that Westbrook didn't win a title, and all this stuff is manufactured. But I mean, they would be. I would put them almost like, either one could be in or out. So that's kind of not a hard question. Or easy question. You think Lakers missing the playoffs? Well, they're gonna be in the play-in game. Fast Bob Hayes, yeah, definitely. Thank you, Necessary Evil. Marcus, what's happening? Cleveland's East Side. All right. On the Great Lakes, y'all need. Oh, thank you, Necessary Evil. Yeah, Golden State was different. Like a parallel world we be in. Sometime I think so, but movement fluid. The reality is fluid. Like I talk about the mind, like just like this, like Yadabab and Marduk. I mean, these ain't just fluid energy. These ain't just static energies that had power. I mean, even if you think of what would be the ultimate God or even source, Like they want to say that the source is just in the middle and just, but it would have to be moving too. It ain't just the same thing all the time. You have to look at the source as something that would evolve as well. Where these motherfuckers trumping each other and shit. But even this evil, the evil ain't just like evil and staying on one type of evil. The evil has changed and progressed. It ain't evil. I'll say wicked. Because you need some evil shit sometimes. But wicked shit you really never need. And it don't stay static. It changes. The wicked changes. Just as the source has to change. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, even the source can't get way of Hanukkah. It is movement and measure. It is measured. Even the source has to be measured. It's like chaos. Something existed before chaos. That's why they want to put that Big Bang shit. Well, the Big Bang loses because it ain't dispersed. It ain't the start. They even have to admit it had to start somewhere. It had to be something before this. And if it's something before, it ain't got nothing to do with Jesus. This rum is way sweeter than any goddamn beer. Oh my goodness, this shit's sweet. I have a common name. Okay. Did you see the guy, Kristen score 50? Why is everyone? Yeah, I mean, as CWE said, it's ratings. It's like a home run. You enjoy when they hit home runs. Multiple people hit home runs in games. People enjoy that. So when people bust 50, people enjoy that. But you got to watch the games and see how the game is reffed. See all the number of manipulated shots. See people quit trying. Because a lot of times they'll, you just go by them. It's not hard to defend. Look at a Globetrotter game. I told you before, I had a friend that played with the Generals and the Globetrotters. Some nights he played with the Globetrotters, some nights he played with the Generals. One night we watched him in the Target Center score 50 on the Globetrotters. They lost, but this motherfucker scored 50, killing them. And they still lost by 20. But he was feeling it. I mean, at one point he scored 12 straight points, and they were still down by 20. So do you see how easy that you can watch this dude play for the Washington Generals and score 50 points against the Globetrotters? And you would think if somebody scored 50 points against the Globetrotters, the Globetrotters would lose. No, the Globetrotters did not lose. That only about 7 dudes played for the Globetrotters, maybe 8. So do you see how easy it is to script the game? Dudes scored 50, yet they lost. To the Globetrotters. Motherfuckers is fucking around most of the time. It's NBA's 50th season. They want it to be popular. Nets will play Bucks first rounds for ratings. Maybe. Another Saint Game 7 thriller. Could be. NBA has ruined the value of 50 points. Exactly. They really want to break. They really want to break Wilt's record. But Wilt has and that's the devaluing Wilt. Wilt should have been the one on the motherfucking logo. Should have been Wilt, not the lovable loser. Jerry West lost like what, 6, 7 championships? He lost 6 in a row. And he's the logo, won 2 finals, but you lose 6 in a row at one point. I mean, they showed you in the Magic shit. He was MVP. He was like what they did to the 75 Cowboys. Leroy Holley, I think was his name, where he had 2 interceptions and 2 fumble recoveries in Super Bowl, I think 5, when the Cowboys got beat by the Colts, Baltimore Colts at the time. Same thing. I think it might have even almost been around the same year. No, that was before. Jerry West was in the 60s when he got MVP because he lit them niggas up. For 7 games, he was averaging about 40 on their ass. So he lit their ass up. And Elgin Baylor, him and Elgin Baylor was both probably putting together about 70 together. But then you always had Boston that had 5 dudes. I said it with, did you catch that Boston accent? And I said, Boston, yeah. See, you, I ain't listening. But they always had 5 dudes that would outscore them 2 dudes. That's how they did it. They outscored. So, Jerry West went 1-8 in the finals. Yeah, 1-8. That's right. He only won one. Wilt won two. He only won one. Wilt won two, and Jerry West only won one. That's right. When you see star players going off, get that live bet in. They score 50, but get the W with it. Yeah, well, yeah, and that's I'll say that is. I think a lot of people miss that part of betting. The live game in betting is going to be the easiest way to beat this thing, because what you got doing is so much pressure on the big egghead dude. And the egghead dude is probably cloned. There's probably a couple eggheads, the big heads sitting in these rooms, and all they looking at is these screens, figuring out these games, replaying future seasons, putting it all together. But yeah, that's where the money can be used. ESPN be renewing this for $2 billion possibly. Do they control the narrative? They ain't the only one that's in it. TNT putting a big bid in too, so they gonna have their hand in it. But it's as I said, the big head dude sitting in the rooms is looking at all that as well. That's where these numbers come from. It's the egghead in the room. It's the big egghead in the room, and that's where all these ideas of these numbers and shit come from. So they look at it and how much money they're gonna make, and it's like, oh, okay. So no, they don't necessarily control the narrative. I mean, okay, you buy the TV rights, and then you got all these people that want to run ads from the people that buy the TV rights, right? Right? I'm putting it on my channel. I already paid you, so I get the commercial money. You know that's how it works, don't you? It ain't the NBA getting that commercial money. The NBA gets the billions from the contract. And there's commercials what? Every what? And during the game? Where am I at? Seven Hall of Famers in the 1963 team. Hey, Nicole B, what's happening? Celtics had a mega super team. Most of the time they did. Yep. I would agree. They really did. ESPN. Yeah, they really did. They really did. Sam Jones, Casey Jones, Satch Sanders, Tommy Heinsohn. Tommy Heinsohn. I mean, yeah. So they weren't bad. They just outplayed Wilt. Had too many. I'm doing the 2K. They got draft classes set way into 27. Of course, NBO's ratings are so bad. Are so bad. Yeah, I can see that. But it's good enough where they'll keep going. It's good enough where they'll keep going. It's a point where they're satisfied. The television people are satisfied, and keeps going. Keep it going. March Madness has destroyed NBA ratings. Adam Silver's probably shaking in his futuristic bathroom. But yeah, but they've been dealing with this. I mean, you see how like ESPN is a perfect example. ESPN, they put their bullshit on. So and the only the regular free television is the ones that really kind of suffer. But the NBA knows they've dealt with this so long. Hockey, all of them know that the Final Four is going to be on everybody's mind for the next so many weeks till we got that championship game going into the Final Four weekend. So they're all used to it. But by so far they know that what the ratings for the other shows and shit gonna be. So they tone it down. Shit. I mean, again, the first what did the first game come on at 10 something my time? California, the first games came on 8-9 o'clock, 8:30. So they all used to it. I mean, for and that's like despite all this games on, I left. Again, I ain't get up until noon. Well, no, I probably got up like 11:45. I think that's when I got up, about 11:45. Again, I ain't go to bed about 3 or 4. So I got up about 11:45, And shit, I drank a bunch of coffee before I was like, oh, motherfucking game on, and I turned the games on. So I didn't turn the TV on until probably shit 12:30, and then I left about 3. I took another shower. I took a shower like last night. I took a shower today, and your skin. I mean, it is still winter, it kind of dries your skin out. But that's why I give you props, 8. You don't have to talk about another black man or black women for views and subs. Well, thank you. That's a very kind thing to say, and I don't have anything. I don't understand that. I love my people. You know, I want to say the one thing like Fred Hampton used to say. He was for the people, and he loved all people. I mean, Fred said it didn't matter. He wanted all repressed people to get together. And I think I feel the same way. Now, I talk a lot of shit about Europeans, but it ain't no individual European. Like, just like in the Malcolm X movie where they showed he failed and truly didn't understand the bigger picture of the whole story, when the young European girl said, what can I do? And he was saying it wasn't nothing she could do. Well, again, someone that's interested gives their energy and asks you that, insulting them or cutting them off from the energy. Who does that help? Only an agent would do something like that. Of course, anyone can be involved in being present. Anyone can be involved in adding and knowing. Oh, there's one of my main girls around the world, Just Jody. Yeah, D still. It really does. It really does. I mean, I don't get that. I don't I don't I don't like I don't listen to that at all. I mean, if you really ain't trying to bring it, I ain't really listening. It's very kind of you to show that out, Jody. I don't understand that kind of thinking. Just sitting there talking about women. I mean, talk to women. To me, that's the best thing. Is shit. You feel a certain way, talk to women. Who do you put yourself around? I said before, I'm alone most of the time, but if I want to socialize, I'm around people. When I play pickleball, I know everybody. Like when I leave, everybody say goodbye. Everybody, because when I play, I am probably the best sportsman. I got a couple dams and fucks today. I try to hold that shit, but it's like lose or win. I'm enjoying who I'm playing with because I see they try. So I tell people, when people, even if it costs us a point or something, I was like, good try. You almost got it. That's okay. And I noticed people noticed that about me because it wasn't just something I did one time. I did this shit from fucking June all the way to shit now. Whoever I play with, good try. We'll get it next time. Oh, I missed it. I don't sit there and like, damn, you could do better or you're the weak link. Nah, it ain't like that. So I don't have to bash anyone. I mean, I'm about making us think higher, think stronger, think deeper. Breathe in. And blow that shit out when it ain't doing you no good. I mean, there is a point to positivity. And I say, don't be anybody's fool. Lucid living is you love life. You are a player in this movement because this shit is moving. It's not a stagnant kind of thing. It's always moving and evolving. So that's how you have to be. You have to move and evolve with it. And at some point, you become a master of this. And no, being a master don't mean you flash and the shit appears. Being a master says that, okay, if this is all I can make this thing move to do what I needed to do, then it's enough. And when I need it to shake, I know where the tree to go shake the tree to make the shit work for me. It's like, okay, I need to go over here and shake, motherfucker, this shit need to work. That's pretty much it. Vanetta, Thank you for joining. Uh, well, thank you, B Brown. Thank you, B Brown. That is so kind for you to say. I mean, I try to be positive. I get pissed. You look at some videos where I get pissed at my child because at some point the shit he does it annoys me. But that just shows my humanness. The humanism in me. That's all it is. Like he's like, well, you're so negative because you yell all the time. I get excited when I get mad or when I'm joyful. I get excited either way. I think I hear. They say I hear okay, but I talk loud mostly. I mean, just that's how I always talk. I talk with a high volume. So, oh my goodness, I don't know how people drink liquor that much. Ooh, that is so sweet. Oh, that is like this Captain Morgan tastes like taking a piece of candy. It is so freaking sweet. My ex-wife definitely got diabetes from liquor. Not well. I mean, she smoked and stuff and eat candy. Like now, I think now she's candy more than she did when I was with her. But liquor, a lot of liquor gave her diabetes with people, the family. So yeah, that's why you saw I had a couple, what do you call, little drops of that shit. I'm not drinking too much damn liquor. I like beer. I drank a few earlier watching the games. But hell, I didn't get home. I had a lot of business to do. I got a lot of business to do tomorrow, like a lot of business to do. So, but it's positive. It's really the manifesting is coming. Uh, and it's just positive. And so that's how I look at it. It's like shit kind of came good. So that's all I can do is say, do my best, and if it materializes kind of the way I envision it, that's great. If it don't, I'll keep putting around the way it is. I'd rather do bud and beer at times. Yeah, me too. That's me. That's me. I'm a bud and beer dude all night, and I don't drink when I'm out. Like if I go to a restaurant, I might have a beer, but damn, I'm eating a whole freaking meal. It's not like I just go pound a couple beers. No, it's like I'll have a whole big freaking meal. Because again, I did lose weight, but I'm still like 225, 223, somewhere around there. So I ain't no 170 pounds where, a beer will, because again, I did take the alcohol class and I know how much I can drink because again, that was part of our training where we had to see how much we could drink compared to our weight where we would be intoxicated. Like even getting a point on it, point two point any of it. We had to do that when I took the class. And what they found out is, well, at the time I was doing it, I was probably 250, but in shape. Hooping every day is just like I'm never been really a little dude since I've been a man. So I was hooping pretty quick still at 250. But when I went to the police academy, I was probably 250. And I did nothing but work out before and tween and when we went there, we worked out every day. And one of the dudes that was in the police academy with me played at Western Michigan. So we hooped like every day. We end up having I've said this before, we had a 3-on-3 team where it was for the college. And technically, when we was in the academy, we was still going to the college. So we was able to play. And we won the championship. And our college was going to get invited to go to the Pistons was playing still in Auburn Hills. So it was a tournament. All the colleges got in the tournament that qualified you to go to Auburn Hills and play with the other colleges in Michigan. Well, of course, we weren't enrolled in Western Michigan University, so they didn't let us go because technically we were professionals already. But so the team we beat in the championship, they got to go, and they ended up winning the shit. So we would have dominated the shit if we went, but we killed we didn't lose a game. We beat all college players, and none of us was less than 30. Like all of us was 30, and we was killing these dudes in their 20s and 3-on-3. But again, I ain't say how Big O is. Big O like 6'7", 6'8", probably a solid 260. I mean, he ain't 6'8" and skinny. I mean, Big O, you look at him, you would think he was a football player. And Ronnie is probably 6'4". not thin, 6'4", and me and the other dude, I can't think of his name, but he's about 6'1", 6'2", square head, military, looked like a Marine, but a police out of Niles, Michigan. So we was all not, not no little dudes. What is his name? Dusick. I can't think of that cat's name, but all these dudes probably retired police. I know Ronnie is a retired actor. What's my biggest fear? What is your biggest fear? I really don't have any fears. I've lived my fears. I've been tortured. And I'll say this, been tortured. Yeah. Like, I don't even want to get emotional saying this shit, but sometimes you go in these holes and you open the door and the shit ain't pleasant. And it makes you live out this shit that like breaks you into a million pieces in the worst kind of way. And you feel that shit and it hurts so fucking deep. It just, you can't disappear. You want to disappear. I mean, the shit hurts so bad. You just like, just make me disappear. I don't want this what the way this shit is stabbing me and killing me over and over again. I don't want this no more. Cause the shit is so miserable and so like really fucking hell. Like the shit is fucking hell. And you gotta go through it over and over and over and over again. And it's like, to get to a certain point, you gotta go through that shit. And so when this thing comes around again and tries to hit you with that shit, it's like, you made me live through that shit. And so it's not that I don't have any feelings or emotions, but you did that shit already. So when I see it now, it's like this shit is like I done did it before, and I'm not gonna just be crushed by the replay. Now I love what's around me, I love what's in front of me, but I am not going to repeat it because I've been through it. And so I know this reality enough where you can't do anything to me because you've done it already. And that's kind of like how it happens and how you get over this shit. Because it comes back around. I mean, it really does. It comes back around. And then it's like you looking at this shit replaying. It's like, it's not that I don't have emotions. It's like, it ain't going to do it to me again. Because I already see how it's going to happen. And the bad thing about it is you have these experiences, you start writing these stories. Shit comes in your head and you start writing stories. And that's the biggest thing we have to get out of. Is like, just take the information in. Don't write a story. Just bring the information in. Don't write a story with it. It's like, until you really experience the rest of it, don't write a story. Because that's what we just went through this past year. That's all they wanted us to do. Somebody sniffling, we writing a story. Oh, they got it. So, so to say I don't really have any fears. I can't save everybody. I already know that, and I try to tell people you can't save everybody. It's like, what do they call it? Non-players in the video games. You got to let them be non-players. If a person shows you they're a non-player, let them keep that position. Even if it's somebody you love, don't take them out of that position because they're non-players and they ain't gonna never get it. Now, if you are associated with a non-player that does the old manning, but does help you, and that ain't really the word I'm looking, support. Okay to support. It still might never take them out of non-player status, but if they support you, that's okay. And then you just see that it's so much information they can take in. Understand that. There's so much information. They can only, they're going to be limited in the information they take in. No NPCs, that's right. And so don't try to save them. Let them stay where they're at. Yeah, I can do without the sweet every day. That kind of sweet. Sweet with the choker. It's like it's sweet, but oh, it's choking my throat. Ah, this is one of my toys. I carry this pretty much every day in the winter. This shit is so fun. Love the detail. I've been a knife collector for shit, probably 35 years. Some of my early knives I bought in the 80s. God, one knife I bought in the 80s, that knife is like $10,000 and I gave it away. I don't know. I just gave all my knives away. But this is Damascus. I've had this for probably 4 years and yeah, touch it. It's heavy. It's heavy as shit, but it's just as sharp. This is again carbon steel, now stainless. Don't buy stainless steel knives. You can't keep them sharp. 440 stainless, perhaps, but it's hard to re-edge stainless. You want carbon. You want something that will, if you don't oil it, will get rust on it. But yeah, this is what and this is buffalo horn and probably buffalo bone. Buffalo horn and buffalo bone, or maybe ram horn. This is handmade out of I think these come out of Connecticut. I'm about to order another just pocket knife from them too. But I got a hatchet that folds up too. I've never seen one like that. Yeah, yeah, it's one of a kind. I mean, it's definitely one of a kind. Whoops. It's one of a kind. Like the company I bought it out of, and I'll have to post it or something. All these are handmade. I mean, this ain't on no machine, ain't no stamping. This is handmade. Wasn't terribly expensive either, 50, 60, 70, somewhere in there. But I want to get a smaller trapper just to carry around, because in summertime, you carry less weapons in the summertime just because you dress less. Don't mean you can't carry pistols, because there's summertime pistols too. There's wintertime pistols and summertime pistols. So, and the pistol is a defensive weapon, so realize that. Yes, hardest thing in life is when you realize you're the black sheep of the family. You usually stand alone and everyone looking at you. Oh yeah, like my father's family. Yeah. Like I was telling somebody today, my father, I asked him to come see my son play football. Never do it. And then some shit happened to me. Don't come see me in the hospital. I'm put in the hospital. Don't come see me in the hospital. And end up having to move and went to see my ex and my daughter, but went to see them. Went to see them. Didn't come down there. I lived down there for a couple years. Didn't come see me the whole time I lived down there. So, that's just how the ball bounces sometimes. And then when I shot him with a dagger, because that's what families do sometimes. You put daggers at me, I stuck a dagger back at them. Yeah, they don't seem to forgive the dagger that I just put it on them. And it was I did not lie. I said, okay, I am being judged. Well, let's look at the people who judge. Now, I've said plenty of times, my father was an agent. No NF, no guessing. My father was an agent. He worked for them people. I already know that. And he got rewarded for working for them people. He was probably somewhat of one of my early handlers. My uncle, I look at the same way. He worked for them people too. But I understand the social economical positions that put him there. I understand. I didn't grow up like that. I didn't need that. Oh, there's my main man from Japan. What's happening? Conspiracy. What's happening? But it just shows you how like people can throw jabs at you and then you jab them back and they're like, it blows them the fuck up. It's like they could just jab you, and then you jab them back and they blow the fuck up. Like my great grandmother would always like, my mom would do shit. My great grandmother's like, well, I'm cutting you off the well and shit because you didn't come over to cook me some cornbread on Sunday. That's what my great grandmother was. She'd call my mom and talk shit like, I'm expecting you to come over to cook some cornbread for me, I got you in my will. That's how she would do it. Well, you're in the will. And then my mom didn't do the shit. She'd be like, she'd call back like, you didn't come make me the cornbread, so now you're cut out the will. I just want you to know. That's how the shit reminds. Well, you know about the will, don't you? In Memphis, we had a big rappers that died, plus Bengals went to the Super Bowl. Memphis Tigers might upset Gonzaga. Well, this is the problem. Gonzaga ain't won it. Now, is this their year to break through? I'll say this. I'll say this for Gonzaga, and if we get a first-year team, I still think Duke is going to win it all. Coach K, I think, is going to get rewarded. Again, won the conference, but didn't win the tournament. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they won the ACC conference. Maybe not, but they didn't win the tournament. But if you look at how they do it, a lot of times they don't let you win that shit to win the bigger shit. Now, Gonzaga, I'll say this for Gonzaga. If you look at the picture they painted of Gonzaga and how they build up that program, it's a small school. It is a small school. Notre Dame, people don't realize how small Notre Dame is. Notre Dame ain't no like Ohio State or Michigan State where you just got acres and acres. Michigan State is a town by itself. East Lansing is Michigan State. Notre Dame ain't like that. Gonzaga ain't like that. These ain't these big, massive schools. These are small places. But I'll say the narrative is Gonzaga is they were the mid-major that forever was knocking on the door. And as you see how they like to push these upsets because that shit with Iowa was clearly manipulated, not calling that late foul. Clearly manipulated. And as I showed in that play in Kentucky, the narrative of fumbling balls when they was up. When he fumbled that ball, they was up. And I looked at that play, I'm like, they motherfucking punch shaving. That's why I showed Kentucky moving the ball, because that was when they was giving up them points. You see it, this point shaving. So will Gonzaga be rewarded for the mid-majors? That's the only scenario I see them winning. Will they be rewarded for always being the mid-major that knocked on the door? Could, but I think Coach K getting it is the narrative for this year. I could be wrong. And Memphis has never won it. Remember, they lost to Larry Finch and Dr. K. Let me see. Larry Finch and Dr. K. What is his name? Played with the Nets. Kennington. Was that Dr. K's name? Kennington. What was Dr. K's name? But him and Larry Finch lost to UCLA, one of the Walton teams. What is Dr. K's name? Watch out for Kansas. They're on an easier path with Iowa out. And if the money's too heavy on Duke, the script might get flipped for. Yeah, well, yes. That would definitely be a Wilt ritual. That's a good researcher. That's great. That could be. And Kansas has won it before. Yeah, that very could be. I watched an old video where they showed the original basketball rules by Dr. Naismith, which again, Dr. Naismith saw what was going down in South America. He saw them hoops and them rings, and he just turned them around. It's not like these games wasn't going around. These types of games people were already playing. Putting a ring up on the pole or something been going around for a long time. He went to South America ballparks, copied it. And you know who made the first leagues? Well, let me even back up. So I watched some shit, and it wasn't new. This is some shit for years ago, where for the original rules of basketball, $3.4 or $5 million for Naismith's original rules. I forget what school it was going to go to. Please forgive me, I forgot. But yeah, one of the schools got this dude to pay damn near $4 million for the original rules. But I don't think I have this anymore, but I used to have an interview of him and his rules, or him and how he saw the game. Because Naismith put the shit together in the 1890s or so, and he lived until the 1930s or 40s, I think. And so he talked about the game, and like he talks about how at first the dudes would just tackle each other in the gym. Like they passed the ball around to go score, and they would tackle each other. I don't know if people study who John Wooden is. John Wooden is one of the few people in the Hall of Fame as a coach and a player. And John Wooden, when he played, so this is how the old basketball rules were. I would score a point, right? So when I would score a point, they would take the ball to my free throw line, and I'd have a jump ball. And if I could tap it to one of my players, and one of my players passed it back to me, and I score again, it would start all over again. So after each score was a jump ball in your area. So that's the advantage of scoring. If you scored, the ball stayed in your area. And so they played like that for some years. As I've said before, Nancy Lopez, you study Nancy. Nancy started high schools that the girls didn't advance the ball. So you had a defensive team and an offensive team on each end. So you had 20 people. You had 20 people per game for basketball. A lot more girls involved. So I don't know if people, and they call those Iowa rules basketball, but the girls never advance. You get the rebound, you dribble at the half court, you give it to your offensive team, and then they attack the defensive team. That's how basketball was in Iowa until probably the 70s. I would say probably the late 70s. Because Nancy, and she's cool. I met her, and I didn't take a picture with her because she was so cool. I was like, Nancy, you are so fine, and you are such a great player. Nobody's even, nobody was like, coming up and talking to her and shit. Because I was sitting in the first row behind. She was coaching Sacramento, and again, she was one of the end coaches. She wasn't one of the sit next to the coach. She was one of them, keep a clipboard and sit in the back. She wasn't sitting where the coaches was, because I don't know if y'all know NBA like that. Like you see the coaches that be next to the coach, and then you look in that second row and you see them coaches that's sitting back there. Them ain't the real coaches. Them is like learning coaches. You see them dudes sitting next to the head guy. Them is the real coaches. But the coach keeps 7, 8 dudes, and she was like, it was just more, giving her a job than her having a real thing, because she coached WNBA. Duke versus Auburn. Could be. Yeah. You say people sleeping on that. That could be. That sounds like a good one. Auburn, no. I don't think Auburn's ever won it, so it would definitely be Duke winning that one. I agree with Duke and Auburn. Well, let's check it out. Oh. Shit's right in front of me. So Auburn coming out of the Midwest. Yeah. Auburn, really, yeah. With Iowa gone, they should beat USC pretty easy. Wisconsin could be tough. And then they'd have to beat Kansas. Auburn would have to beat Kansas. But can Auburn beat Wisconsin? I don't have them beating Wisconsin. But on a neutral court, now I wonder about Gonzaga. I still ain't really totally put them out. But we see. But it could be. I just can Auburn get over Wisconsin? Wisconsin plays in a tough conference, and they have a good team. So we'll see if they can get over them or not. How long I've been going? Okay, I do got a busy day tomorrow. Another day of it's colder, right? Like right now it's gonna get down to the 30s, but that ain't shit compared to what it was. It's been beautiful. It got like 48 today, and we all out. I went to the pickleball court at 3, and it was already playing. And what's interesting is, since all the snow of Monday, a dude Tuesday was blowing off all the snow, and from one of the courts, don't you know, from Monday, from it snowing Monday, and one of the courts being completely covered with snow and ice, this dude snow blowed it Tuesday. This shit was gone. We've been playing on that court the last 2 days, so now we have like 3 courts. It's a total of 6 courts, but where we're playing needs to be resurfaced and everything. So I'm gonna have to definitely buy another racket because the balls are, as I said before, the normal ball we play with outdoors takes a beating on those courts, and I'm not gonna take my newer shoes, my older shoes, still playing on it. So I'm gonna have to buy another racket, but I'm gonna spend. It's just the level I want to be. You got to buy rackets like 130 to 180 bucks to get them good rackets because they lighter, that the ball plays different on them, and I got good hands. Wisconsin is a home team. Yeah. Wisconsin is a home team, and when they're a home team, I had Creighton. I had Creighton and SDU's bad at free throws. And like USA Today used to give you all that shit. They done slacked. Because this USA Today I got, they didn't give you anything. Like just 2 years ago, I got one that gave you all the fantasy shit. I mean, it gave you each team. I mean, it was like the whole paper was nothing but March Madness. They broke down each team. And maybe it wasn't last year, it was probably the year before. And this shit I got now, they ain't break down shit. They didn't hardly, they was like, well, this is what to look at this. But I mean, at one time, USA Today gave you each team and showed you their strengths, showed you their weaknesses, talked about the strong players. Yeah, you didn't get that this year. You definitely didn't get that this year. They talked about, but it's like, yeah, they didn't get the information out as they did. So that's just how it is. So, but yeah, they used to give out that kind of stuff, like who the players that's gonna come through in clutch, and who's been through these separate situations. Yeah, none of that, none of that, none of that. But it's been beautiful. I'm sorry, I don't know how I'm gonna put back together the Responsible Daddy Hour because it's so nice. We walk or ride bikes. A lot of times I'll just ride my bike over there and then ride with them. So don't know how I can, the whole thing was me picking her up unless it rains. It's supposed to rain maybe Monday, but this weekend we looking at 50s, 60s. So 60s up here in March is like a summer day. Like dudes I played with the last couple of days been wearing shorts. I mean, this is just how Minnesota is. We had mailmen. It was a contest with two mailmen who could wear shorts the longest. I remember I bought some furniture in the 80s, and one dude, like it was a whole society up here. Motherfuckers just wore shorts all year round. And so the dude worked at, what is it called? What is the Swedish? IKEA. IKEA. So the dude was loading my shit up in my truck with IKEA, but it's like he's wearing his shorts and boots, of course, but yeah, he's showing too much, plumber ass as he's loading my shit, which wasn't very enjoyable to me. I was like, yeah, okay, I see you're wearing the shorts, but at least wear some shorts that hide that plumber ass. I don't really want to see it, buddy. I don't care if, what time of year it is. I don't want to see it now. So if you can't wear shorts or whatever to cover up the plumber ass, I feel offended. So I was a little offended. I had to give him a bad recommendation because I don't want to see plumber ass ever. Now, if I'm in my house and people in my house see it, that's different. I don't give a fuck in my house, but you're not going to see me showing plumber ass just anywhere, so. And that's a true story. It's just funny, though. It's just funny. But I'm just silly. I'm just silly. And I enjoy myself. Yeah. I take the joy as it comes. I take it as it comes. And as I said, I'm a man that takes it on the chin. And there's not enough of us that will do that. You see a lot of people, instead of taking it on the chin, they want to tell. I can't take it on the chin, so I'm going to tell what I know. And I don't know. I'm just from that old school where I would take it on the chin. Can't cry about certain things. You just take it. Hey, Jay. Thank you, Jay. Plumber's crack. Yeah. Goddamn right, man. This is what I want to do to him. I want to. That's how I'll be looking at it, you know, slap a motherfucker. That's why I love the Three Stooges. Like, watch, if you can catch the original pilot movie of the Three Stooges, that shit is funny as fuck. It's a replay of them being in the court, but the original dude that played Mose, and that dude got killed. He was sacrificed for the Three Stooges. You can see a replay because they do it again. It's just them three and Mo playing the heavy, but that's some funny shit. The Three Stooges is. I like the Marx Brothers a little better, the comedy, but the Three Stooges fire slapstick. You know, Mo would like slap a motherfucker in a minute. It like no matter who. That's what I loved about it. Mo would slap no matter who was in the like Three Stooges. He just didn't give a fuck. If they was fucking up, Mo would hit him with a wrench or some shit. You know. He was like, motherfucker, like if some shit hit Mo and Mo didn't know where it came from, he would just take a wrench and just throw that motherfucker in the direction where he thought it was some people. I like that kind of life, that kind of freedom. Like, damn, an apple hit me, or I'm gonna throw a wrench back at these motherfuckers. Then you hear somebody in the background, you know, they in the background like, oh, they in the background. Because you done threw a wrench at their ass. See, I like that kind of thing. That's the kind of thing that to me I find is very, very, very funny. I mean, the Marx Brothers too. That shit, the Marx Brothers do a thing about the Nazis and shit, which is kind of interesting. But as I said before, you know, you watch, I think it's maybe Goose Feathers about football, because both the Three Stooges and the Marx Brothers do a thing, a football kind of parody as well. But the Marx Brothers do a thing about the Hitler and the shit, and it shows, you know, it shows the media. Like, you got all these media motherfuckers that ain't going to war talking about war, as I said last night, and I'm gonna still preach this because this is how it gets started. You have motherfuckers talking about war. They ain't gotta go. Their children ain't gotta go. Their cousins, their uncles, ain't nobody they know gotta go to war. But they pounding the drums of war. These warmongers like Hillary Clinton. So, you know, kind of I ain't watched that shit today. Now I'll say gold was unchanged, basically 1931 today, I believe. I didn't really watch my other trades. I just watched that little bit of gold. Love the Three Stooges. Yeah, I love the Three Stooges too. I love the Three Stooges. Three Stooges comedy. Wait till the sound effects and all. Yeah, I love that shit too. Crying and expressing yourself is good for the soul. I know some guys just got to be a thug every day. Don't know how to take a day off. Yeah, tough all the time. Oh, let me buy some shit off Craigslist. Here's some shit for everybody. Check this shit out. So, a dude, I'm gonna copy this shit from Craig's Facts. So check this out. A dude married a young woman. She was 30 years younger than him. So yeah, 30 years younger than him. They got married. 20 years later, she goes to file for divorce. Okay? So just like look at it. She was in her 20s. He was probably in his what? 30, 40, 50s. He was like in his 50s. So like me, like if I would have married Wendy. Wendy was in her 20s and I was, I'd have been a little older. So yeah, he was in his 50s. She was in her 20s. 30 years older. You got it? So they stay together for 20 years. So she's in her 40s now. 20 years, he's in his 70s. You know, he's got to have a pump to pump up his meat. You know, they put the pump right there in your stomach and shit, and you just pump it up. You don't need Viagra. You just put a pump in your belly, and, you know, when you want to get it, you just pump it like this, and it comes up. You know, it's like you pump it down, and you can pump it up. Pump it down. Pump it up, pump it down. But anyway. So they're married for 20 years. She goes to file for divorce. After 20 years of marriage. Now she's in her 40s. She looking at that money. She looking at this 70-year-old motherfucker. The court tells her she's been divorced for 20 years. So the backstory is the first year they got married, they took a trip to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has laws where you can get divorced and you don't have to tell the other person you divorced. You don't have to serve them. You ain't got to get them to sign. The way you do it here, they got to, it's back and forth paperwork. Apparently, Puerto Rico is where you can go. So they went on a trip to Puerto Rico right after they got married. He divorced her. And then she finds out that they're not married when she goes to get divorced, thinking she's going to get half. Now, my question is, again, this is just listening to today's story. When you file for taxes, that shit would come up, wouldn't it? Like, how for 20 years you finding joint taxes and not one time the IRS said y'all ain't married? I don't know. That would almost be fraud, because if you are the person and you know you're not divorced, yet you're using both people on taxes, that would be fraud. Wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be fraud? I'm pretty sure that would be fraud. That would come up because for 20 years you're filing joint tax returns. And then, so I think that would be a type of fraud. So I don't know. Pump me up. I read that shit reading about the mobster, big Condoline, big, what is his name? The one that got killed, that Gotti killed in front of the steakhouse. Big John, I can't think of his name. He was from the Genovese family. He was actually the brother-in-law of Genovese, and Big John Castellano. Yeah, Castellano. Castellano put his wife out and married the maid, and he got the pump put in. And they show you a diagram of the shit. When you're reading about this motherfucker, they show you a diagram of the pump so he could fuck the maid and shit. And people, since people talk about that shit, my ex said she knew a motherfucker that talked about he had one of the, older people she knew. So I think it's better technology than that. Probably you just need a little on your phone. You can take your phone and, phone, pump it up. Be like, wait a minute, baby. Get to the phone and you get into the app and the phone to pump it up. Okay, I'm ready. That'll be some funny shit. Pull your phone out. Okay, hey, or your girl going down and shit like, hey, it look dead. Oh, give me a minute. There it goes. Smacks her in the face and shit. That would be some funny skits and shit. Motherfucker, like, hey, honey, I want to do something here. And hey, oh, wait a minute. There you go. Smacks her in the face. I wish I would have known that I would have done the same thing to my ex. Yeah, apparently so. I've heard that you can go get divorced, quick divorces in Puerto Rico. I've heard that they are the place for quick divorces. I did not know that you ain't got to tell the motherfucker you divorced from him. So I guess it would come up, but that's a gangster move. You can't say it's not. That's a motherfucker that thought the shit out and saw how flaky the woman was. He read her already. I know. How much of this should I tell? I know a couple very similar to that. They're more like, well, they're probably more 15 years apart, because she's in her 70s and he's in his, she's probably 77, 78. They're probably maybe 10 years, maybe slightly more. And no, I ain't gonna tell all their business, but how do I say this? She had an episode, not cheating or nothing, but it was some shit that happened to her where she was put on the shelf. Okay, y'all know what I'm talking about. She was out of town for a little while. He stuck with her while she went out of town, and she went out of town in her 70s for some shit, and he stuck with her. So sometimes you can work it out. It ain't just, the older, that's the old thing. It's the older. Like, he hung in there where he really could have probably cut the cord and cut her out a lot of shit, because what happened, but he didn't. He hung in there. Because I never know what family like watching shit. Dang. Yeah, it's probably an app on your phone now. You ain't fuck some Viagra, just do the pump, have some like you know they had Mr. T like he was tough and shit. What is Mr. T? 5'6" and some shit. You know, it just showed you how a little motherfucker Rocky was. You know, and Rocky was the most fucked up shit in the world. Here you put some shit at the wasn't it the what's the arena in Philadelphia it used to be called? I'm sorry, I'm old Madden, but you put because they've since moved the statue, but the statue was right there outside the Philadelphia basketball hockey arena, and you had Joe Frazier there. You had Joe Frazier from Philadelphia. Well, he's from South Carolina, but he lived most of his adult life up to the point he won the championship in Philadelphia. And you put a fake champion up there, and then Joe Frazier's statue probably only 5 years old at the oldest. So you tell me that man didn't deserve, at 5'8", didn't deserve the world, you know, recognizing what he did. But do you see how fantasy, the Great White Hope, that's what it was, the Great White Hope. I mean, that's what they called when Jack Johnson fought the motherfucker. And it's somewhere in Galveston, Texas, I think, is a statue of Jack Johnson. I think Sonny Liston from Galveston too. And it should be a statue of Sonny Liston. Because, you know, it's a bunch of them champions couldn't read or write, but became champions. Sonny Liston. It ain't just Sonny Liston. Joe Frazier couldn't read or write. Muhammad Ali couldn't read or write. Joe Louis couldn't read or write. It's a bunch of them couldn't read or write. You wonder what happened and like the way. It should be a movie on what the fuck they did to Joe Louis. I mean, really, it should. To show how they hounded and broke that man, it should be a movie about that. What they did to him, to hound him in his later life, to rob him of making money in his later life. What they did to him. It was criminal. And you know they say ignorance is no excuse, but in his circumstances, ignorance was an excuse. And they knew that. And then hounded him to early death. I think Joe Louis died at 64. Dude was in shape, avid golfer. I dig it, Sean. What's happening, Sean? I don't know how much longer I'm gonna go because I've really got a super busy day tomorrow. I've got a lot of shit to do before school. Now I'll tell you something odd. Like 2 of my children rejected sports. My oldest son played 8th grade football. I don't know if it was 7th or 8th grade. I don't remember. But he broke his arm. He was happy he broke his arm, and he never played football again. Never really played basketball. Just kind of wasn't his thing. He played basketball as a get in shape kind of thing, but it was like he kind of rejected it until he learned that it's a lifestyle. My 20-year-old son, same way. He's 6'7". Played a little bit of basketball, but, you know, not really with it. My son that lives with me, he's the tallest of all of them. I'm going to teach him how to dunk. Healthy lifestyle. I mean, he's on a diet now. He lifts MMA, does all that tumbling and training, and can whoop a nigga's ass because that's my bodyguard. But during the season, my daughter wouldn't take any coaching from me. I went to every practice. I left her, though. I didn't just stay there. I would come a little early to watch her improvement, watch her in the games. And yesterday, we were messing around in the yard. I was showing her a couple drills. And I showed her that drill, and she did it several times. She said, "Show me more." It's like, shit, I got 1,000 more. So I've been making her do little drills. I'm going to work out with her tomorrow. The park we're going to, it's a basketball full court, pickleball courts. So we're all it's one giant park. So I'm going to work out with her a little bit tomorrow, get her basketball tight. Oh, let me tell you what they did to me too. So I look on Craigslist find basketball hoops. I find this portable hoop. I mean, it looked perfect. It's like, okay, because like my little neighbor, and I'm still going to go get one because the little boys over here, they done tore theirs up. The one I bought my daughter, she tore hers up years ago. So we got to get a couple too. We're going to get one at my house and one at her place. Plus, these boys can play on it. I don't care. That's kind of why I'm getting it. So I went to go get it. And luckily, we had business over there because I needed my son and we had the tools. We had to take it apart and put it in my truck. So we get over there and we pull, and they're supposed to be in the driveway. We pull in and I look, and it's like where the square is all broke. I look at the picture, but I'm at the house and I'm like, wait a minute. The picture don't show the square all broke, but I'm looking at the hoop and the square is all broke. And it was nice when it was new or before the square was broke. So yeah, it had to be a big no. It was actually a decent hoop because it was the kind where the way the plastic, it wasn't just a little bladder on the bottom, that you put sand or rocks or bricks in. It was like this big piece that you put all that in, but the ball would drop and then shoot to you. Well, yeah, it's seen better days. And I'm not going to get that kind of shit and then put tape in the back, because I guess you could tape in the back, or maybe I could got some plexiglass, but that was too much work. So it was false advertising. Even if you're giving shit away for free, that's false advertising. Well, thank you, Sean. Yeah. But she's got the bug. She's got the bug. Trying to find camps, 3-on-3s. Probably going to go to Michigan. My cousin coaches high school basketball, but my cousin also owns an academy. I mean, he has his own facility. And so probably going to spend a week in Michigan, let her go for a week and play against people. So she's already improving. So by the time, because she's going to play volleyball in the fall. And by the time the hooping come by for sixth grade girls, she's going to be all right. I mean, just the year, she's going to be all right. We're going to get her hoop at her mom's. So she's already dribbling every day. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to watch. Now, only my 20, soon to be 27-year-old was like that. None of my other children really had that hunger. Like, and even my 27-year-old didn't have the, like, really, I've said this before. Until I got 50, I never got, like when I played semi-pro, I moved here when I moved here really killed my semi-pro career. I was 44. So I played semi-pro basketball till I was 44. And I had never been stopped. I mean, can't say where a person just stopped me. Now, when I was 18 or 19, I played half court with a dude, the best defense I've ever played. But that was one time. And he was getting a little taller than me and could kind of stay with me, but that was the only one time. Only one time in my life I felt one dude really guarded me. So this son just didn't have that killer in him where when I was young, it definitely wasn't being stopped. So that's hard to instill, that you got to be born with that kind of thing. That hunger, just take it all and just be your best every time. Again, as I said, when you go to college, everybody good, everybody's fast, everybody's quick. Cream rises to the top. So, I had one back in the day. Them years later, my baby sister had the adjustment and ground NBA version. I said, okay. Yeah. And so that's what we're going to get from my daughter at her mom's house. Out here, I'm going to get one where they all can play on it. So I'm going to still look and go get one. Because I told the boys, I was like, because they done tore theirs up. And like, I was standing outside their house and I was trying to look to see how to take this motherfucker apart. Because I'm like, yeah, I'm going to see what tools I was going to need. Because it wasn't going to fit in my trunk, just all big. So I was looking at the tools. I was looking at hers. I was like, damn. And I couldn't find my fucking Allen wrenches. I bought some brand new sets of Allen wrenches, like the big ones to the small ones. I don't know what the fuck I did with the shit. So it's in here somewhere. So I was like, shit. So I just took some basic wrenches and shit. And I was like, it's going to fit one of these motherfucking wrenches. And the shit wasn't even worth taking. So a little disappointed, but it was others. That I'll go buy one because the boys live here, and then their parents don't really let them because it's a park. like 4 or 5 minutes away. It's a park where they could go play. And I don't think the parents, letting them spread out enough yet. So that's okay. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get that hoop so she can play with them. She'll play with the boys when she over here. So that'll help her too. The boys a couple years older and just play and fight. It's funny. She went to me and PJ, you would know this. She went to me and said, "Dad, can we play check?" And I said this a couple weeks ago or months ago. Oh, okay. Guess I'm at the end it. But I was like, what? Play check. Yeah, can we play check? And one-on-one when you check the ball. I just had to laugh because I first learned about that in second grade, where you check the ball. So let me get the divination out. So tomorrow is going to be day 14. And 14 is Ix. And Ix, Ish, is jaguar. Heart is common mind usage. Qualities are integrity, heart knowing, alignment with divine will, magician, jaguar, night seer, priest, torchbearer, magic, intuition. Symbol is the jaguar, wisdom, wand, all-seeing peacock. Number 14, obelix or indicrease. Indicrease is a type of purple. Indicrease. Herb is basil. Flower is stargazer lily. Flower essence is sunflower. Spiritualizing the ego. Patchouli. Pachu. The sin is, I should know this, the dried kind of stuff. Patchouli. Stones. Motivite. Opal, crystal ball, rainbow, moonstone. Green watermelon, tourmaline. It's an air element. Direction is in the north. Shadow wisdom, issues of integrity, personal power, control. Will out of alignment with divine will. Need for approval and recognition. Mind out of alignment, hard knowing. But the way you can have a transformation of the shadow is develop a clear connection with the divine will and your essence self. Be transparent. Incentively allowing magic to come through you rather than needing to create it. Again, incentively allowing magic to come through you rather than needing to create it. Trust, open to heart knowing and limitless possibilities. Harmonic wisdom is the melody. The mudra, left hand cupped beneath the heart, while the right hand held in perpendicular with strength, reaches straight above the head and then down again to the other hand, meeting at the heart and aligning with the divine will. And I'm going to say with mantras, a lot of that stuff where they throwing knees and, you got the Mason, a lot of that stuff is copies of the mantras to okay, bet. Let's do it tomorrow after the games. Let's do it tomorrow after the games. Yeah, for real. Let's do it tomorrow. But so I want to start doing the mantras too, showing how they done, and you can do it. There's no witchcraft involved. It's just again, mantras is the shit you were seeing in Doctor Strange, And this hat is so dope. I mean, this is I ain't seen a better hat than this one. This shit, they got gold with this hat. Look at that shit. That design is a motherfucker. Y'all wish y'all was me. Y'all wish I was me. Oh, well, that's so kind of you. That is so kind. Thank you. That is so kind, B. Brown. Those very kind words. And as you know, I'll end with the time walking words because I do give a little time walking wisdom. Even though you've heard this many times, this ain't for everybody. And I'm not allowed to release much of it, but I seem to be allowed to release this. So Mora is kind of like is like if only God's will or thank you Jesus. This is kind of what Mora would be, that kind of thing. So Mora, it all starts with a gentle sadness. They came from their original homeland. They knew that they had an exact number of years and days before they would disappear from the earth as a culture and a lifestyle because they were culture creators, culture builders. You know, can't be denied that civilization had to be taught. I've experienced that. That's one of my experiences where I'm born out of the cave and I felt the full being born out of the cave. I felt the full of being born from the cave. And all of us looked alike. Now, again, I assumed I looked like them. I felt like myself, but I'm looking at them and I came from the same place as them. So I must have looked like them. And it was just me and this other dude. And we like know all these other figures, forms did not seem to know what they did. But every day, everybody faced to the east, and it was like a download. And me and this cat found this mound. We went up the mound. We found the motherfucking cave because we was like, okay, this must be it. We went into the cave. We fucking came out of the cave, and it was civilization. I mean, it was animals, it was people. I mean, full civilization. Where before we went in the cave, it was just these. They look like I'll basically say it. They look like humanoid frogs. I mean, it's not really frogs though. It's like humanoids. Everything looked the same. And then we came out. It was like full blown civilization, families, tribes. It was like almost like that. Really like. And me and dude kind of went back in the cave and looked at each other because we was caught so off guard where we saw these beings that never did anything but faced the east every day at the same time. It was like that one hive mind. And then we find where we, our quest, and we go on our quest and fulfill it, and we come out of it, and it's like, oh shit, what is all this? So, uh, but the civilization built to a gentle love. They lived in the Creator's day and knew how to separate cycles in the great serpent, which is our Milky Way. And again, all my relations, all the people that watch me, all the friends in this world, and all my friends that are friends, real friends, that we personally talk. Remember, I am another yourself. This is very much just created with them, connected to the Mayans. I am another yourself, so treat me as you would treat yourself. And as you are on your spiritual creation ball field that you call a bed, may it be peaceful. May you have joy and may you be undisturbed. Because that's all a bed is. It's a continuation of our ball field. We're taking back. We're not going to be locked by all these squares you put around us and call these squares freaking caskets. We're not taking that. We know where you get the square from. It comes from the ball field. So we're not going to let it be corrupted. So we take away the power from your squares that you try to lock us in. We don't take that anymore. The ball field is part of the creation. That is why we have to talk about, tell you, and report on the corruption of it. You don't even tell grieving mothers that they can go to a park and to take away that grief. You don't even prepare that anymore. That don't even exist. They just got to take that shit on their own, and it's nowhere to put that. How is it? How don't you have that set up? Why isn't anybody else telling people like that? This is designed for that. This is what the ball field of creation is part of. Takes that grief, especially losing children. There's a place to take away some of that pain. No, it ain't gonna remove it, but there's a place of energy that can take some of that away, because that's what it's for. That's why a park, no matter what, a park is always, the energy of playing is always there. If a basketball court had one game on it, it's always there. My college football field, I ain't played on it 40 years, but my energy of playing there is never leaves. The plays are still recreated. My energy is there. My high school court, my high school football field, all that still. The energy of all those teams before me, all the teams after me, is all blended together. So rest well in your creation ball field. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you, all my Chocolate Mountaineers. Thank you for climbing the Chocolate Mountain with me and being on my galactic patio. I will be on this time tomorrow after the games. The games ran kind of late tonight. So, till we meet again, say less.